Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to AMC Mail Bag, the mailbag version, if you will, of AMC Movie Talk, where all we do is take your mailbag questions, a much more laid back, relaxed, very informal, almost kind of like talk radio, really. A show here on AMC Movie News. My name is John Campea. I'm the editor-in-chief of AMC Movie News, and I am so glad you decided to make me a part of your Sunday afternoon, coming to you on this fine weekend. And without, dancing around the issue so much, let's just start today by diving into the first question. The first email, I should mention this, though. You can email us anytime. By the way, you got a question you want us to answer either on AMC Movie Talk or on AMC Mailbag, just email your question here to amcmovietalk@gmail.com. We get like 1,000 emails a week, and we pick out as many as we can. So send on in your question, and maybe your question will end up on this show. So with that out of the way, let's get to the first question today. And the first question today comes to us from Montier Bailey, who writes, "What's up, AMC guys and gals? Love the show. My question is for Campea and Amirose." Well, obviously it's just me here today, so sorry, Montier, it's just me. When you guys watch early screenings of movies, do they include movie trailers before the showing? If so, I was wondering if you guys got to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer that I've heard is going to be shown before Winter Soldier. Thanks, guys. Love the show like a fat kid loves cake. Montier, and I hope I'm saying your name right. What he's saying is, Amy Rose and myself and other members of the AMC Movie News team and others, we get to go to early screenings of films, press screenings that the studios will hold, so the press, film critics, whatever, can see the films in advance and start writing promotional pieces and writing opinions about it before the film comes out. And as most of you know, I got to go see Captain America twice. I've seen Captain America, the Winter Soldier, twice already. And it's been publicized that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the new film, will have a trailer before the new Captain America film. So when I got back from the first screening, the first press screening of Captain America, I had a lot of people tweeting me and asking me, "Hey, did you get to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer?" And the answer to that question is no. They don't play trailers at press screenings. And here's why. Because the theaters are the ones who play the trailers, right? And they make money from the studios who pay them to play trailers. But for a press screening at a theater, that's different because that's a private event. So the studio books a theater, say at the AMC Century City here in Los Angeles. The studio books a theater, and now that theater's theirs for the night. So the theater doesn't get to play trailers or commercials or anything like that. All it is we go in, we sit down, and when it's movie time, they just start playing the movie. So no, we do not get to see the trailers at press screenings. And that's a good thing, and that's why we don't get to see them at press screenings. So no, I as of yet have not seen the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to see Captain America again on opening day. And when I do, I will get to see the new... let's face it, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer will probably be online a few days before it goes into theater. So we'll see it probably within the next week or so. And then we'll talk about it then. But no, when we go to press screenings, we don't get to see the trailers in advance. All right. Next question today comes to us from David Ramsay, who writes, "On November 7th of last year, I attended the Thor marathon at AMC theaters we're having for its release and had a spectacular time. It was great to be able to see the 3 movies Thor was in together, and even better was being able to see the Avengers on the big screen again. My question is, why this is not being done for the release of Captain America Winter Soldier as well? Was the promotion just not profitable enough to do it again, or is there some other reason?" Well, it's funny you should ask, David. As a matter of fact, on April 3rd, Captain America the Winter Soldier officially opens on April 4th. But on April 3rd, at AMC theaters across the country, you can actually go and watch a double feature of Captain America the First Avenger, followed by the first public screenings of Captain America the Winter Soldier. And so they're doing a double feature. You can head on over to let me bring up that address right now. You can head over to www.amctheaters.com for all your theater, showtime, movie ticket information. See if the closest AMC theater to you is participating in this. But yes, AMC is doing a double feature. Now, unlike the Iron Man marathon we did, and unlike the Thor marathon we did, and unlike the Avengers marathon, Avengers is not going to be a part of the Captain America double feature. because Avengers is the one movie that's been a part of every single marathon we've done. And I think AMC kind of just got to the point where they're figuring, you know what, audiences they've probably seen. We think the people who would come to see a Captain America double feature were probably also at the Iron Man marathon and probably also at the Thor triple feature. And they've probably seen Avengers on the big screen enough. So the Captain America double feature is just the two Captain America movies, Captain America, the First Avenger, and Captain America, Winter Soldier. So once again, that's April 3rd. Go to www.amctheaters.com to find out where it's playing near you, and you can get your tickets for that. And I know I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to it a lot, watching these films back to back, because I love the second one so much. All right, let's move on to the third question today. And the third question today comes to us from Cheryl Dixon, who writes, "Hey AMC, so I read on a website the other day that Sebastian Stan signed a 9-film deal with Marvel. Does this mean that Bucky could eventually become the new Captain America and that they'll kill off Steve Rogers?" Well, thanks a lot for writing in, Cheryl. For those of you who watched yesterday's mailbag, you know that I addressed this not the question from Cheryl, but an identical question from another viewer yesterday. But I thought I would just touch on it briefly here again today, because so many people have been emailing about this and tweeting about it and writing me on Facebook about it and asking me about this. I thought I would touch on this again today. So here's the short version, okay? If you want a fuller explanation, watch yesterday's mailbag. But the short version is this. Just because they've signed Sebastian Stan to a 9-film deal does not mean Marvel is obligated to use Sebastian Stan for 9 films. And just because Chris Evans only has 3 films left on his deal doesn't mean they're not going to re-sign him for another deal. So ultimately, all that contract means for Sebastian Stan, Bucky Barnes, and Winter Soldier, is that if Marvel so chooses to ask him to come back for more films, up to 9 more, he's obligated to return and perform. However, Marvel is not obligated to use him if they don't want to anymore. They don't have to use him for another single film if they don't want to. But if they do want to use him, then he has to return. And Chris Evans, yes, he only has 3 films left on his deal, but remember, Robert Downey Jr.'s deal ran out too, and they re-signed him to another one. So he may come back. So what does it mean? It means nothing. Ultimately, that's what it means. Sebastian Stan having a 9-film deal with Marvel ultimately actually means nothing. Just that, Marvel has learned their lesson, having to go through a renegotiation with Robert Downey Jr. because his deal ran out. He had appeared in all the films he was contractually obligated to appear in, and then they had to sign him, sign a bigger deal to him. So now when Marvel wants to sign somebody, I guarantee you, when whoever they pick to play Doctor Strange, they're going to be locked in for minimum 6-film deal. 7, 8, 9, 10 film deal they're going to sign him for, because they don't want to go through the same hassle that they just went through with Robert Downey Jr. So they want to lock their actor up and say, as long as we want to use you, we're going to use you. So like I said, I go into it more on yesterday's episode, but I want to touch on it again today because so many people were asking about it. But that's the long and the short of it. All right, let's move on to what question are we on now? We're actually on question 4. Question number 4 comes to us from Blake Bonecutter, who writes, "Hey there, talkers. Love the show. Do you think that the new Star Wars movie will end up being considered as canon in the Star Wars universe? Or do you think with so many coming out, plus spin-offs, that only those original 6 will be considered the official Star Wars movies, and all others just viewed as cool add-ons like the games and books?" For those of you who don't know what Blake is talking about, there is something called the Star Wars canon. And canon just basically means what is the actual history. What is actually real, quote unquote real, in the Star Wars universe? Because, you've got the Star Wars movies, but then you also have the Star Wars animated show. You've got 1,000 Star Wars books and novels and blah, blah, blah. And so let's say you pick up a Rogue Squadron book, just because something happens in a Star Wars Rogue Squadron book, that doesn't mean it's part of canon. That doesn't mean when they make the next Star Wars movie, they have to make sure it doesn't conflict with what happened in Rogue Squadron. Not at all. The books are not considered canon. They're not officially considered an official 100% in stone part of the Star Wars universe, even though they're in a Star Wars book. The animated series, I used to have this debate with people a lot. Even the Clone Wars animated series is not true official canon. some people tried to argue with me, and I don't know why they would argue with me and say, oh no, there's this quote that George Lucas said, hey, it's actually a part of the Star Wars universe. But then the actual canon czar of Lucasfilm came out and specified, saying, well, no, like cartoon shows like the Clone Wars, they're canon, but they're not canon. You know, they're not G canon. In the Star Wars universe, G canon means the highest actual official level of historical canon, and only the movies are those. Only the movies. And as much as it pains me, because I hate the prequels so much, Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3, those abomination, gutter trash pieces of garbage movies, they are official canon because they're the movies. And as they move forward with these new movies, Star Wars Episode 7, 8, and 9, and the spin-off films, they will also be official canon. And from what I understand, actually, this is an interesting thing for those of you interested in Star Wars and the expanded universe in Star Wars, that moving forward now, Lucasfilm and Disney, now that Disney owns Lucasfilm, are only going to sanction and authorize expanded universe stuff, novels and whatever, if they fit into official canon, because I think, if I heard this right, correct me if I'm wrong. Jump in the comment section and correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe I understood and I heard that moving forward, any new expanded universe stuff that comes out, like the new Star Wars cartoon show coming out that's going to be called Rebels, that's coming out, that's all going to be considered canon. As opposed to all the old Star Wars expanded universe stuff. So yes, the new movies will be official canon. All right, let's move on to question number 5. And question number 5 today comes to us from Sully, who writes, hey, AMC crew, love the show. Well, thank you so much. My question is, how come Batman vs. Superman is getting more buzz and rumors about it as opposed to Avengers Age of Ultron? Is it because people are concerned for Batman vs. Superman, or they think it's going to do better and want it to succeed? Would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks. Well, honestly, I don't think you're right. There is more buzz and more chatter and more talk about Batman versus Superman than there is about Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. But let's not devolve this into a DC versus Marvel issue. That's not it at all. The thing is, people like me, film fans, have been waiting for a Batman versus Superman for decades. I've been waiting most of my life for a Batman versus Superman movie. I mean, that's just it. There's generations of us who have been patiently waiting most of our adult lives and most of our teenage lives for Batman versus Superman. This is important to us. Now, Avengers has already come out. We know how awesome it is. We know it's great, and we know the next one is going to be great. Like, we know it. We're confident about it. It's awesome. It's terrific, and we know the next one is going to be awesome and terrific too. But Batman versus Superman, we've been waiting generations for this film. We've been waiting for decades for this film, and we don't know how it's going to turn out. And we don't know if it's going to be good or great or awesome or terrible or one of the best of all time or one of the worst of all time. We just don't know. So you put all those things together, the fact that this is a movie we have been waiting generations for, plus the fact that we don't have a quote-unquote track record with it yet, because we haven't seen Batman versus Superman, and some people are still kind of iffy about Man of Steel, even though I adore Man of Steel. I thought the movie was awesome. But a lot of people are on the fence about it. All that put together means you're going to get a lot more buzz and a lot more chatter and a lot more talk about Batman versus Superman than you are about Avengers 2 Age of Ultron, which, we haven't been waiting our whole lives for. This is the sequel. We already saw the first Avengers, and we know how great it's going to be. So we talk a lot more about Batman versus Superman. I think that's normal. And I don't think it has to do with DC versus Marvel. I don't think it has to do with which movie will be better than the other. I just think it has to do with how long have we been waiting for this film and the fact that there isn't precedence for it yet. And I think you put those things together and you get a lot more people talking about Batman versus Superman than you do about Avengers Age of Ultron. But don't be fooled. Age of Ultron is going to be great. Everybody's going to go see it. Everybody's looking forward to it. You just hear us talking more about Batman versus Superman. That's the reason why. And on today's shortened show, we move to our last question of the day. And our last question today comes from Jameson Mosey, who writes, hey, AMC, love your show. Thanks so much, Jameson. My question is about the Tron franchise. I heard a while back that Tron Legacy sequel was being made and haven't heard any news on it since. Is it still happening or is it dead? I also think the Tron franchise has so much potential. Thanks so much. Well, Jameson, you're not alone. I know a lot of people really like the like Tron Legacy. Full disclosure, though, I didn't. I was disappointed by it. I didn't think it was a bad film. And I'm glad I saw it, and it certainly had elements that entertained me. But overall, I was expecting more, and I was expecting better. Now, I know a lot of people who love the film, and that's awesome. I'm just letting you know, for me personally, it wasn't that great. And I didn't find myself wanting to see another one because I was looking forward to Tron Legacy a lot, and to me, it let me down a little bit. Not a huge disappointment, not a terrible film. No. I just left going, okay, yeah, that was fine. But I in no way find myself yearning for another one. But a lot of people are. And there was some talk, some serious talk about them doing the next Tron movie. As far as I know, though, that got shelved. As far as I know, there are no plans for a third Tron film, for a follow-up to Tron Legacy. There was a short-lived animated series on Netflix. You can find on Netflix now called Tron Revolution, I believe it's called. And it's quite good. It's quite good, but it also got canceled like after 1 or 2 seasons. It didn't last very long. And I think they have given up on Tron. I could be wrong about that, and maybe plans will change. By all means, if you know something different, please mention it in the comments section below and share your knowledge with the rest of us. But as far as I know, plans for another Tron film are gone. They're gone. So, but let's keep our ears open. That could change. Anyway, folks, that will do it for me for today on this shortened version of AMC Mailbag. Thank you so much for joining me. Once again, don't forget, Captain America double feature coming April 3rd to AMC Theaters. To get tickets for that or any movie playing at AMC Theaters right now, head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. Listen, don't forget, you can find audio-only version of this episode on our iTunes podcast. So look for AMC Movie News, AMC Movie Talk, AMC Mailbag. Look for AMC Movie Talk in iTunes, and we include AMC Mailbag in the podcast feed for that as well. So you'll be able to watch and listen to us on your way to work or whatever you'd like to do. So thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name is John Campea for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.